This video is sponsored by JJ Drones, the droning veteran, and Chillin' in Indiana Carl. Welcome back to Off the Hook Outdoors. I'm Ted, your host. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I prepare my topwater frogs, my hollow body frogs, and some of my soft plastics. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be boiling and adjusting hooks today. And I'm going to show you the reason why I do that, and hopefully that helps you out. And also, this is another watch and win video, so stay tuned and keep watching in the video. Wherever my logo pops up, please hit the timestamp in the comments, and you get a chance to win a pack of my baits. I hope you enjoy the video. Alright guys, so here are some packs of Spro frogs, brand new in the pack. And then this is my topwater frog collection. I do have a couple that aren't topwater frogs that are in there, but that's the frogs. And then there are a box of my Flukes that I wanted to show you how I bring the plastic back to life. I'll show you how I do that in a second, so stay with me. Alright, so what I do is I get a pot of water on with a pot. I have a towel down, I have a spoon to pull out the baits. So I'm letting this boil right now. So once it starts boiling, I'll show you exactly what I do. And one recommendation, guys, is do not use your wife's good tea towels while you're doing this. Alright, we'll be right back. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you some of my frogs. Obviously, I have a pack, the new packs of the Spro frogs. That's one of my frogs of choice. So check them out. They'll be in the link in the description. I also like to use Live Target. But there's some frogs out there that are harder than others. Spro is sort of like a harder frog. So that's why I do this before every season. Here's some older frogs that I wanted to show you. Can you see how they're like... the legs and everything are all bound up from just being in the box and everything like that. So I'm going to try to show you how I fix that. Also, you have some frogs. I have some frogs right now that don't have legs on them. But when they get, like, from baking in the sun and things like that, they melt. So what I do is I pull them out, and then what I do is I order skirt material, and I get a pin, and I put it through the back end of the frog. And I pull the skirt material through there, and then I trim them down as needed. So that's just something that you don't have to throw your frog out if they lose their legs, put it that way. I've seen people use shoelaces, I've seen people use string in the backs of these. But I'm going to show you a couple tricks what I do with this new, I'll show you what I do with the new frog, and it may help you get bit. So stay tuned. Okay, so as far as my soft plastics go, and I just brought my Flukes out because they seem to tend to mess up the most in the box. As you can see, this Fluke here, see how the tail isn't straight, it like bends up, and that's from being in the box. They sort of develop a memory, and there's actually tension on that plastic. So what I do is I drop them in the boiling water, and that will straighten all the tails and everything out. So here's another example here how it's pretty much bent. They don't really look right, and they're in the box like that. Like you can see the back here, how it's like bent down. So what I do is I throw these in the boiling water for a few minutes, and that helps straighten that out. And that's what you want. When you're out on the water, you want your baits working properly for you. And something like that, if you put that on, it's not going to work properly for you. So just a little tip for you guys. This is a Strike King frog. It's the KVD Sexy Shad. As you can see, I trim some of the legs off. What I like to do is I trim them sometimes. It depends on how the fish are biting. So I have some frogs in there that are a little bit smaller than a body, and I have most of my legs are actually the length of the body. I trim them to the whole length of the frog body. And also in this one, if you can hear it, there's a rattle. So you can add some things like that. You can add rattles to give it more sound. There's also been times where I will put a cotton ball in these, and when it gets wet, it weighs it down, so this frog will sit in the water a little more, because when a bass comes up to hit this frog, it actually pushes water and will push, like if you, we're going to pretend here, if my hand is the fish's mouth, the bass's mouth, what you'll have is you'll have the frog floating on the water like this, and the bass will come up, and when it's coming up, the momentum of the bass will want to push the frog out of the way. So what you want to do is have a heavy frog that floats. You don't want it sinking. You want it floating so that bass can grab that frog, and that'll help you get some hookups also. If you weight the frog a little bit so it sits in the water on top of the water, but it sits down in the water, because if it's on top real light and the bass comes up, it will push the frog out of the way and the bass will miss it. So that's just another little tip there for you guys. Also, and I will show you what you can do is when you have your legs on your frog, what you want to do is, sometimes what I'll do is I'll cut one side shorter than the other, so it makes that side of the frog a little heavier when it's sitting in the water. And what that does is, when you're pulling the frog across the top of the water, and you stop it, that will actually give it, without you doing anything to the frog will actually spin and move on its own if you cut one of these legs a little shorter, because it does make it lighter on that side, so the heavier side will want to pull. So when this frog is stopped on top of the water, the heavier leg will want to turn that bait for you, and that gives you a little action after you're done pulling. When you pull it to those like spots that are like holes in the grass, you can pull that over it and stop it, and that frog will actually move for you a little bit and give you a little more action on the stop, and that sometimes you can get bit that way also. Okay everybody, so I got the box of frogs here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just insert them into the water. There's some mice, so I throw everything in my box basically in here, so all the frogs will go in. And then once I get them all in there, there's some man's frogs right here. So I have a whole bunch of different kinds of frogs. I got Z-Man, Man's, Strike King, Spro, Live Target, all kinds of different frogs here, because I like the frog fish. So we're going to throw all these frogs in the boiling water, and then I'll show you what I do here in a second. So everything goes in, and what this boiling does is it softens the plastic up. You'll get some really soft baits out there, but you also get some more, you'll think they're soft, but they're actually kind of hard. So what you want to do is boil them, and what I'll do is I got a spoon, and I'm just going to push everything in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer on my microwave for 3 minutes or 4 minutes. I'll put it on for 4 minutes, and you just want them to sit in here for that long. And then once these are ready, I'll show you what we do next. Okay guys, what I wanted to mention also that I forgot to mention before, you want to keep these moving in here also. If you don't, the heat on the pot, if your legs get stuck to the side of the pot, that will melt your legs. So you sort of want to keep them moving around and just keep mixing them so the legs don't stick to the side of the pot, or you can ruin the bait and then you have to put more legs on yourself. So, alright, we'll be right back. Okay, so we got that done, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these and just scoop them out and lay them on the towel. We're just going to throw them up here to let them cool down so we can handle them. So it doesn't matter how you put them on here yet. I'm just throwing them out, getting them out of the pot right now. Make sure you get all your frogs out, get them on the towel. Once again guys, like I said, don't use your wife's good tea towels, because she won't like you when she gets home. And you'll see there's some stuff that falls off. It actually cleans them a little bit also, like all the dirt and grunge off of them and everything. So, alright, so then what I do is I just lay them out, and you can already feel how soft they are. And there's water inside of them too, so you got to be careful you don't get burnt. But we're going to lay all these out. And there's going to be some water in them. So we're just spreading them out, laying them out on the towel. Just like that, guys. Let me take this and I'll show you. So we laid them all out on there, and we'll be right back, and we're going to put some more in. Okay, here's another batch I'm going to throw in. I have Lunker Hunt in here also. I've just seen that. And this also gives you, what it does is it sort of goes through your inventory of your frogs also before you go out there and fish. It lets you see what frogs need work. And then this is a great lure for spring. It's a bluegill from Storm. It's like a swim bait, paddle tail. I'm going to throw that in there also right now. And as you can see, I also have extra frog hooks in here. And what I'll do is I'll clean this tackle box out also while I'm cleaning the frogs off and prepping the frogs for everything. But yeah, it gets you a inventory of your frogs, what's in good shape, what's not, what you may need to buy or what you may need to work on also. So, okay, 3 minutes, we'll be right back. Alright guys, so that's it for this. So I'm going to pull these all out. I even threw my new Spro frogs in here also. I do that with all the new ones also. So we're going to throw all these out here. Let them dry out, cool off a little bit. Okay, one more. That's that. And we're going to let them dry a little bit. Let me move this over here a little bit so you can see. And what I do is I just spread these all out on here. Just to get them spread out to see what I got. Here is that, I don't know if you can see the bluegill. And you could already tell it gets soft. Really soft. Now it'll get a little bit harder once it cools down, but it definitely helps. So let me get all the frogs spread out here. I'm going to run my soft plastics. I'm actually going to get take these and move these frogs over to another part of the counter, and I'm going to show you how I do my soft plastics, so stay with me. Okay, now I got my flukes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop all them in here. Every one of them out of the box. And some of them you're just going to have to toss if they melt or something from the sun. But a lot of these seem pretty good. But I can recondition them and get them back to normal here in a second. Once I boil them, they'll get all straight. And the hardest part is separating everything again. So I'm going to finish putting, there's a hook on that one. So I take the hooks out. And like I said before, I also clean the boxes. I don't want that. Yeah, I also clean the boxes just to clean them up for the season. Alright, so they are in. This one here has a hook in it. And what I'll do is I'll just take that hook out and I'll put it in there. Put the hooks in, put this on the side, and we will mix these up. Alright, we'll be right back, guys, as soon as the timer goes off. Okay, the timer is off. Let me hit that off there. Let me get these out. Turn this heat off. Grab all the baits and just throw them on the table. And I will show you what you got to do next with these. Just throw them all in there. And this will work with any of your soft plastics, guys. If you have anything that's deformed or anything like that, or not running right, excuse me, you can always do this and it will rejuvenate your plastics back. Okay, so what you got to do though is you got to lay these out straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out, and then I'll be back and I'll show you how they look. Okay, before I show you how they are, that is what you want. You want everything to line straight up so it all forms back. What that does is basically when these are folded up in your tackle box, they mold like that, and there's tension on the plastic, and what that hot water does is that actually releases the tension and straightens everything back out. So you got, and it actually softens them back up again. So if they're getting a little bit crazy in your box from being you know, in your box all year, and they start to get a little hard and everything, you can definitely rejuvenate this. So all right, stay with us. All right, everybody, so there I stand them up on their backs and I lay them flat. This one's not too flat, but I lay them flat, and then they sort of build that memory back again. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna actually take my boxes and I'm gonna clean my boxes, and we'll see you in a bit. All right, so I cleaned my boxes out, and what I did with that is you can run them in the dishwasher real quick, or you can just rinse them out with hot water and wipe them down, and that's what I did. They're drying right now. So I hope this video helped you guys out on your soft plastic frogs, your hollow body frogs, I should say, and any of your soft plastics. You can bring them back to life just by doing that. It takes a little bit of time to do it, but it's worth it in the end. So good luck on the water this year, guys. And remember, this is a watch and win. So check out the logo somewhere in this video. And if you see it, make sure you write it in the timestamp, and you will be entered into winning a pack of my baits, and that will be posted on my community tab. So please hit the like button if you're new here. Please consider subscribing. If you follow me already, share me out, make a comment. That would be awesome. And once again, like I always say, take a kid fishing or hunting. We want to preserve the sport and pass that on to future generations. And we will see ya.